Hello, this is Brian J. signing on, and this is my short review of Captain Marvel. It's spoiler free, and I'll do a spoiler review maybe tomorrow or Sunday. But I just want to say this Captain Marvel movie was really, really good. I thought Brie Larson gave a really good performance. She's great at, she's really good at comedy and drama. I felt she kind of mixed both really well. There were times where her delivery, the dialogue was a little flat, and sometimes emotionally she was a little emote at times, but she still had some really good dramatic range and emotional range. And I feel my issue with Brie Larson is that she doesn't look like a superhero, but that's what they were going for. They wanted a woman who looked like the average woman who can do extraordinary things, which would be more relatable and more appealing to the average woman in America who doesn't look like a superhero or doesn't look like a model, So I guess they made that relatable for her to look the way that she looks. But Brie Larson does give a really good performance. Samuel Jackson was really good. And Clark Kent, who plays Phil Coulson, didn't have a lot to do. But I have to say, the CGI for Phil Coulson was really terrible. I mean, it was so distracting. You could see that the CGI on the face, it looked fake, and they were trying to make him look 20 years younger. It was something was wrong with the post-production. But the CGI to make Samuel Jackson look 24 years younger was actually done really, really well. The action scenes were good. Visuals were good. It was a really Biden numbers origin story that was predictable because you knew where the movie was going to go. You knew it was going to set things up for Avengers Endgame and that Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, is going to show up in the movie. But what I did love about Captain Marvel, what I really, really liked, was that Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, made logical sense as a character. You see her go through rigorous training under the Kree. She had been with them for 6 years, from 1989 to 1995. That's a little bit of a spoiler, but you'll get into that when you're watching the movie. But you see her go through actual training, and when she finally is able to use her superpowers at like her full superpowers, she's not like. She struggles using the powers. Like when she's using it, you see her blasting herself against the wall. So, Marvel, to me, the MCU and Marvel as a whole is sort of sci-fi, but with also a lot of fantasy as well. They're more science fantasy. Like Marvel is more like a mixture of Star Wars with a little bit of Star Trek, But their character, 90% of the time, they either have like a scientific explanation, whether it makes sense or not. They try to explain it. They try to explain things, or they try to have a certain logic. And with Carol Danvers, they really created a very logical character because they see her working hard and training and trying to become a great superhero, just like all the male superheroes. But unlike her male counterparts, she actually starts off a hero, but she has her mind kind of wiped, and then she has to like rediscover who she is. But it's also a little bit of a spoiler, but I'm not going to give away the whole plot of the movie. Still, I like that she goes through like real training, and you see her working hard to become a great superhero. I think she's a more logical superhero. She's not a Mary Sue at all. She's not a Mary Sue like Rey. She's not a Mary Sue like Michael Burnham in Star Trek Discovery. Like Carol Danvers is actually a well-developed, logical character who makes sense. Like to me, the process of what she goes through is no different from what the male superheroes went through, but she's just extraordinarily powerful with her abilities. She's basically the Superman in the MCU. She's like Superman, except she has more flaws, and I guess she's more relatable because she's not. Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, is not a concept that's made for children. So overall, I give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. It was really, really good. It's not great. I do feel Brie Larson was really good, but some of her delivery, the dialogue wasn't that great. I thought the CGI for Phil Coulson was horrible. Absolutely terrible CGI, making him look 20 years younger. And I'll say this, the movie is much better than the comic book because the Captain Marvel comic book for Marvel now is terrible. I mean, some of the worst SJW writers from Marvel Comics some of the worst SJW writers on the planet, to me, are writing for Marvel Comics. They're trash. All the good SJW writers are writing for, shows like Westworld, and, they're probably writing for Neil Gaiman, with the Sandman stories, and they're writing for HBO shows and writing for Billion, Showtime shows, Game of Thrones, all those good writers who are social justice warriors, who are really, really good, really great writers. They're writing for really good projects. All the bad SJW writers are writing for Marvel Comics and just running into the ground, sadly. But Captain Marvel, the movie, I had low expectations. The movie surpassed my expectations. It's way better than the comic book. Brie Larson gives a good performance, and I'm very happy and proud of, Anne Boden, and Ryan Fleck, who were the writers and director. Well, Ryan Fleck directed Half Nelson, and Anne Boden wrote the script. I think she wrote it with Ryan Fleck. But they've been a woman-man team for over maybe like 14 or 15 years. They've been working together for a long time. And I'm so glad they teamed up and made a really good Captain Marvel movie. With Anne Boden would have not been able to make this movie the way it was without Ryan Fleck, and Ryan Fleck would not have been able to make this movie the way he did without Anne Boden. They're a really great team, and they work really together. They're like the yin and yang. You can't separate the two. Even though the media tries to focus on the female director instead of the male director because of feminism representation, nah, fuck that. This is a great team of directors and writers, and they did great work with Half Nelson. They did a really good job with Captain Marvel, and I look forward to their careers just blowing up for the next 10 freaking years. I love them. So this is Brian J. signing off for now. I give Captain Marvel an 8.5 out of 10. It's a really good movie. I recommend it. Go see it.